How's it going, everyone? Welcome to yet another episode of the MMA Show. Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Please remember to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment if you want. I hope you guys like this new setup that I got going on here. I used to record back there on my desk, but it was a little cluttered, and I had my keyboard and everything, so I wanted to kind of get a nice little table over here, set up the light and everything. So I'm trying this out because I bought this new aperture light dome. Is the light dome SE, if you're interested in knowing. And I couldn't really put it back there. I mean, it takes too much space, and my desk is already against the wall, so there's not really space for it behind the desk or anything. And I wanted it to light me, in front like this. But my computer would be here, and it would just be a little too much clutter. So I was like, you know what? Let me check it out on this side of the room, and hope it looks good. Hope you guys like this new setup. I like it. I think I'll be doing this. It takes a little bit long to set up, but I think I'll be doing this from now on almost every time, if not. So if I'm feeling lazy, if I'm over there, I just throw the other light that I have, which is smaller, and do it that way. But anyways, your boy's a videographer. Okay, so bear with me, guys. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in again. Man, we had a great weekend of fights. I already talked about the fights last video, so I broke them down, the entire main card. So if you're interested, you can go ahead and check that out. I'll leave that link somewhere over here. I think it's this side, right? Fuck, I should probably know. Anyways, today I want to talk to you about a few different things. So the first thing I had in mind was about, the guy that lost the belt on Saturday, Mr. Alex Pereira. He is a lot of people were saying that, hey, maybe he deserves a rematch, right? And a lot of people don't want to see the rematch, including myself. But I understand why they would want to do a rematch, right? And honestly, I think it all depends to him. I think if he wanted to, if he really pushes the UFC and presses Dana, he could probably get a rematch if he wanted to. It's a matter of, does he want to go through that weight cut again? Because we all know my boy cuts a fuck ton of weight. And a lot of the times that's not good for fighters. That's part also why his chin could be a little bit not there, right? He got cracked once and immediately got wobbled. Like, a lot of people think it's because of the weight cut too. If he were not to cut that much weight and fight at light heavyweight, he'd probably have a better chin. So the question remains: he has to ask himself, like, do I want to go through a camp again and then have to cut that much weight again? I made the argument last video that he should probably go to light heavyweight and fight someone like Jiri Prochazka. Like, that would be a great fight, honestly, and one that striking fans would love to see. That fight, bro, with Jiri striking. Fuck, bro. And we all know Jiri has that dog in him too, because when he fought Glover, the first war they had where he literally almost got put away, like, I don't know how many fucking times, I lost count, but that was a war, and then ends up on top, right? If he, we don't know what he can do with someone like Alex, who definitely hits hard, but I see Jiri being the faster fighter, the more technical, does a little bit more of like spinning shit. Alex is really, really fantastic at hooks, flying knees, like we've seen those shits. And kicks as well. His kicks are amazing to the calf or to anywhere on the legs, or the ones that go high. He has amazing technique for those things. So it would be a very, very high level fight that I would love to see. That is also, obviously, if he does decide to go to light heavyweight, that's who I think he should fight. And that I don't want to go too much into how that top five looks at light heavyweight right now, because obviously we have the champion Jamal Hill, we have Ankalaev and Jan Blachowicz, who are in an awkward position because I don't think either of them will probably fight for a title anytime soon after their draw. I think they'll maybe fight one more time and then probably go for a title fight. And then you have Jiri, who was out injured, but when he comes back, I assume he's gonna get an immediate title fight because he was a champion and he never lost the belt. He had to leave because of an injury. So then you add Alex to that mix. Where does he fit in? Does he fight someone else and then goes for the belt? Does he go, like, who gets the favor here of who fights for the belt next versus Jamal? Is it Yuri or is it Alex? Or do they both fight each other and then the winner of that? I don't know. It's a very tricky situation in that division right now. I guess we just have to wait and see. But I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Alex at light heavyweight because, like I said, he would be at his more natural weight. And we all know that when fighters kind of move up a division and kind of gain that advantage of being on their natural weight, a few things happen. One is physically they're at their best because they're a little bit faster or a little bit stronger as well, and they just feel more comfortable on the not necessarily faster, but they feel more comfortable on the cage. They might be a little bit more loose or something like that. And obviously not having to cut too much weight is a huge bonus too, because I mean you literally dehydrate and suck your body out of everything the day before the fight. Which is kind of crazy to think about it already, but you no longer do that. But also there are some people that are going to cut that weight that you're going to face that might be a little bit bigger than you. So it has a few advantages and a few disadvantages, obviously. It's worked out to some people like Conor, like he started at 45 and eventually moved up to to 55. And then he also moved up to 70. So, man can do it all. But when we saw him at 55, I think is when we saw him at his best, I think. Well, his record would say otherwise, but 45 is where he probably is the most decorated. But either way, man, you see that it just feel better on the cage. And it comes to the question of Alex, like, will he have a chin? Will he have a bit better chin if he moves up to light heavy? So if for whatever reason he does decide to stay at a middleweight, he probably will try to get the immediate rematch. And I don't think he is as interested as fighting Whitaker. Which, you know what? Now that I think about it, what the UFC could do is make Alex Pereira versus Robert Whitaker a number one contender fight, right? And Izzy can probably fight someone else or, take a few months off or whatever while they fight. And it's timing because Alex got knocked out, so he's probably going to take some time off. So, that leaves room. That probably destroys my previous scenario. So he probably won't be fighting in the next few months. So yeah, I mean, he's just gonna have to take that time off, recover. Usually fighters, take a few months off after they get knocked out, just because they want to rest a little bit and recover a little bit better. And it's recommended. I mean, you've heard people like Joe Rogan say it all the time, like, hey, if you get knocked out, like, take 6 months off. Like, make sure you're fully there before you come back. And it's not only about recovery; it's also about the mental shit that does to you. Because if you do get knocked the fuck out, like lights out, bro. The next time you step into the ring on a real fight, you're probably going to, be a little bit more cautious and you're not going to be as reckless. So you're going to play it more safe. So, definitely Alex should take some time. I mean, but also the guy is a super experienced striker. I mean, I don't think he's never been rocked before or whatever. So he's a super experienced fighter. So he could say, you know what, fuck it. And in 2-3 months, I come back and fight again. Then, only then, it would make sense if he fights Robert Whitaker. He could ask for the rematch, like I said, but I mean, they could give it to him, bro. You never know. I mean, the UFC, they don't give a fuck what you think, bro. They'll do whatever the fuck they want. And it's going to be interesting to see what they decide. But I don't think a lot of people, if not almost anybody, doesn't want to see that rematch. I mean, maybe a few people, I myself, maybe down the line, maybe a few more fights or a few more years, almost like a retirement fight. But I don't think that it's fully necessary right now. I mean, if you go based off other things, like technically in MMA they're 1-1, right? So we need a third fight. We need a trilogy fight. But again, the UFC doesn't always give us a trilogy fight. They've done it with other fighters, like look at fucking Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno in Mexico. They did it back to back to back almost. Brandon had one fight between those fights. He fought Kai Kara France. But other than that, they just fought each other for like 3 years, right? So why the UFC doesn't do that with other, like for example, like Conor versus Nate. They fought each other. Nate won. Conor came back and beat Nate. Why did we not get a trilogy, right? So, will we get a trilogy for Alex and Izzy? I don't know. That's a great question. I don't think so. I don't think so. And one thing it's coming up to my head right now is because of the fact that, so they fought 5 rounds on the first fight, and then they fought 2 rounds on the second fight. So 7 rounds total. Izzy probably won, out of those 7 rounds, he won 5. He won 6 out of those 7 rounds, I think. Yeah, because in the first fight, you got to give Izzy all the rounds, even the first one. Second, third, fourth, and then the fifth is probably Alex's. Because that's the round that he won the fight on. But then on the second fight, the first round was Izzy, the second round was Izzy. So only 1 round Alex has won. Yes, he did get TKO'd at the end of the fight, but Izzy was doing a fantastic job of controlling that fight, and he was doing whatever he wanted in there. Not whatever he wanted, but he was beating Alex up, and it just so happened that he got caught. So that's why I don't think they'll do a trilogy, because they'll say, well, we've kind of seen how this goes. It's a faster moving, a little bit more technical striker versus another striker that just has 1 KO power. Not that Izzy doesn't, but Izzy, I see him as a more technically skilled. Moves a little bit faster. Has a few more tools to get the job done. Whereas Alex, he relies a lot on the punch. So I don't want to talk about those 2 gentlemen too much now, because I've already talked about them in my last video. So yeah, let's move on. This coming up Saturday, we have some interesting fights, and I'm upset. I'm upset because the fight night this Saturday is in Kansas City. And if you don't know, I live in Kansas City. But I just couldn't go. I couldn't go. Tickets were a little bit out of my budget, not gonna lie. But also I was busy with other shit, so it was just a bad timing situation for me. And I would love to go see Max Holloway. It wasn't the best card. I'll talk about it here in a sec, but it's an okay card. But it wasn't like oh my god, let me drop all this money just to see Max Holloway fight. Which it could be worth it, but also it's a fight night. I'll probably save my money for one time and go to like an actual pay-per-view, which will be lit. It's one of my goals. And one of my goals that I actually was thinking about not too long ago is to do that, but not only do that, but do it before Bruce Buffer retires. Because that's like a dream of mine, is to see him live doing his shit on a main event. So I want to see Bruce Buffer do the introductions on a main event championship fight. That's what I want to see. I want to see that before, he retires or passes away or whatever. But yeah, that's one goal I have in my life. So yeah, may not be much for you, but for me, it's a great goal. But this Saturday we have Max Holloway versus Arnold Allen. And it's an interesting fight, man. It's an interesting fight. I think this number 2 versus number 3. Max Holloway also obviously coming off the loss versus Volk. So, I wonder where he is on a mental space. But other than that, he's been on a few tears, bro. He defeated Rodriguez, who right now is the interim. He defeated Calvin Kattar, and he's pretty much undefeated to anyone not named Volkanovski, except for Poirier. He lost to Poirier. But I think that was that a 45 or a 55? I don't remember. But I mean, we all know Max Holloway. We all know what he's capable of. We all know he's a huge, huge name in the UFC. One of the best 45ers ever. But then you have Volk, right? Who just on another level, bro. So that guy is fighting Arnold Allen. Arnold has also been on a little bit of a tear. He defeated who did he defeat? He defeated Cater as well, Hooker, Yusuf. So, Hooker and Cater, those aren't no punks, man. To defeat those two guys, I mean, that's no punk, bro. I think I watched the Hooker fight. I don't think I've... Oh, shit. Sorry. I don't think I've watched the Cater fight, but I'll have to go back and rewatch it before this Saturday. But it's going to be interesting to see, man. And then on the card, we also have Edson Barbosa fighting. So that's cool. We have Pedro Munoz, Clay. It's going to be an okay fight. Like I said, I probably wouldn't spend all that money to go watch this fight. So it is what it is. Like I said, I'll keep my hopes up. But I think my official prediction for that is going to be Max Holloway by submission. I think the last time that Allen won was by KO. I think he KO'd Hooker or he TKO'd Hooker. I don't remember. But Max Holloway, it's, as we know, doesn't really have a ton of knockout power. He's more of a volume fighter. He's more of that. He will piece you up for 5 rounds and get a decision win. So I really think that he could win by decision. I think he is a little bit more high technical than Allen. He's a little bit faster, and he's been doing it for a little bit longer. But that brought me to my next thing, is going to be his age. I mean, like I said, the guy's undefeated in light heavyweight light heavyweight. He's undefeated at 45 to anyone not named Volk. So he's had his chance at Volk 3 times and has lost every single one. That has to do something to his mental fucking health, because the last fight, bro, he was so confident that he was going to win. He was talking all this shit. And then he got absolutely demolished, absolutely stomped by Alex, bro. So you gotta ask, he is probably in a weird headspace, like, fuck, dude, like, I tried my absolute best. I had a great camp. I was so confident. I tried my best, and then I just got stomped, bro. Because there's levels to this shit. And I'm not saying Max is not good. Max is fucking phenomenal. That just shows you, too, how good Alex is, bro. To make someone like Max Holloway look not that good, bro. Come on, he's just a goat. He's just a goat. I've talked about him before, but we all know what Max is capable of, right? So I think my prediction is Max by decision, maybe like a 3-2 round type shit, or like a 4-1. We'll see, but we'll see what happens. Obviously, Allen is also a phenomenal fighter. Also has fought a lot of good people, so it's gonna be interesting to see, bro. All right, guys, we'll call it here. Again, thank you so much for viewing. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. Hit the subscribe button, guys. If you want to be notified too every time I upload, go ahead and turn that bell on. I'll be a little bit more consistent than I've been. I've taken a few weeks off here and there, so I'm gonna be more consistent, guys. It is not that I'm taking weeks off; it's that I'm a fucking busy guy, bro. I do a lot of shit. Alright, so be patient with me, bro. Be patient. Anyways, thank you guys, and enjoy the rest of your day.